I'm Fox 13 News consumer investigative reporter Robin O'Guinye. A year ago, I shared Steven Syvak's story with you. He's living with an incurable form of cancer, but takes a medication that keeps the disease at bay. But unbeknownst to him, his insurance stopped covering his medication costs and doctor's appointments, leaving him with tens of thousands of dollars of debt. It's an issue the Utah legislature has tackled the last 2 years. So when I heard from a woman named Carrie Ann that was now experiencing the same thing, I wanted to revisit why the insurance companies aren't paying up and find out what Utah lawmakers are doing to help. The saying goes, the game is not lost or won until the last bell goes.
Here's 10 years!
For Carrie Ann Kemp, this bell ringing was her win. After being cancer-free for 10 years in November 2021, she went back to the hospital where she had endured 8 months of chemo, radiation, a bilateral radical mastectomy, a complete radical hysterectomy, and 18 breast reconstruction surgeries.
When you hit 10 years, they usually consider you cured.
Right.
So we rang the bell. They were so excited because no one ever comes back for the good news. They always come in. So they were like, oh my gosh, you came today just to ring the bell for 10 years? And I'm like, yeah, love you guys. Hope I don't have to see you ever again.
Yep. 5 months later, after a trip to urgent care for what she thought was pneumonia, she learned the cancer had returned. Worse than before.
I'm still in shock. I still wake up and go, really? Because in that whole 10 years, I was waiting for the other shoe to drop.
Right.
But they say once you hit 10 years, the likelihood of it coming back is almost non-existent.
Yeah, kind of knocks the wind out of you.
Sure does.
But hope was not lost. Carrie Ann started taking Ibrance, a drug that keeps cancer from progressing. While her cancer is no longer in remission, for the last 2 years, Ibrance has kept new cancer from growing, and she feels great.
And it's literally kept me alive for 2 years.
We tagged along for Carrie Ann's February 6th doctor's visit. This one more somber than the ones bearing good news the last 2 years. Carrie Ann received a letter from her insurance company in December, which stated that the money that would typically go to her out-of-pocket maximum would no longer be available, meaning she would have to fork out half of the cost of her monthly medication. Ibrance is $24,000.
I have to have $12,000 today. I don't have $12,000.
Without that $12,000, Carrie Ann will leave here with no Ibrance. She, like many Utahns, have fallen under what's called copay accumulator adjustment. That's when insurance companies and pharmacy benefit managers, also known as PBMs, keep the copay assistance meant for a patient and use it for more profit. The assistance a patient would be receiving does not count toward their deductible or out-of-pocket cost. In 2022, Senator Evan Vickers authored a bill that aimed to combat this very issue, keeping money in patients' pockets. It failed. During 2023's legislative session, I talked to Senator Curtis Bramble about his efforts to pass similar legislation.
We need to do something so that these individuals who are afflicted with these very rare diseases, with these very high-cost medications, that we get the assistance that was intended for them.
It passed the Senate, but did not pass the House.
The insurance companies convinced the business community that should this bill pass, their insurance premiums would go sky high. That has not been the case in some 16 other states that have passed similar legislation.
He's hoping this time will be different. This year's bill would require an insurer to calculate any amounts paid on behalf of an individual towards the individual's cost-sharing requirement. As a person who works for the people, how can your cohorts sit and listen to these stories that people are telling, life and death situations, and not be moved by it? You know what I mean?
Well, that's my role as a sponsor of the bill, to make the case for the legislation. And we're pushing as hard as we can to get something done to help these individuals.
It's become a somewhat full circle moment for Carrie Ann as once again she faces the unknown. Without Ibrance, how long does she have to live?
I don't want to know. I don't want the mental game of some kind of countdown. I'd rather count up to how long I've gotten than how much time do I have left.
She knows time waits for no one, and she's hoping policy can catch up sooner rather than later.
Like a lot of policy, this has been to be made about insurance and big pharma. It's not. It's about the patients. We're the ones that are going to suffer. Select Health and Blue Cross and PHP and big pharma, they're always going to continue to make money. Even if I die, there's another cancer patient. They're always going to make money. Are you scared? No. I'm mad. Because I'm prepared to die of cancer. I'm not prepared to die because of a policy. I can't wrap my head around that. I can't get my kids to wrap their heads around that.
Senator Bramble tells me he believes the bill will have enough votes to pass the Senate. His concern is what will happen once it gets to the House. The bill, Senate Bill 152, will go to a Senate committee tomorrow morning. Carrie Ann will be there to testify. I will be following this bill every step of the way and keep you updated, as I'm sure we'll have some questions for lawmakers. Robin Oginye, Fox 13 News, Utah.